choice. PNM is the voice. PNM all the way on election day. It's the right choice at the right time. Hands in the air for the Bali's. Hey. Introducing my friend, the General. Sasha.
We voting PNM. Anyway, right choice, proud leader. The battle for our nation, your life matter, yeah. Real leadership, yo, we promise you forever. Vote PNM and everything will be much better, yeah. Strength and honor in 5 years of government. Never again will we allow mismanagement. PNM is here to say their love is permanent. Loyal to the flag and never bow to establishment. Who them try if trick and sell out? But them care by my vote, me na bow out. Them better move when we're the army a run out. All the deceitful people will get burned out. Yeah, we know. Dr. Rowley, a leader phenomenal. The UNC full up of pirates and criminal. Send for the duck, cause the state is critical. Search it to perform, and this country's political structure. Send for the doctor again. With a golden pen, a golden pen. Sign my name, sign my name. Anyway, we vote in PNM. Sign my name. It's a PNM pen, a PNM pen, a PNM pen. How are you sign my name? It's a PNM pen. We vote in PNM. Hey, PNM is a PNM power. PNM, a positive healing power. PNM, moving forward together. PNM, introducing Rishi, my brother.
All of we is one family. All of we is one family. Working together to build this country.
Her Excellency Pennelope Beckles, Trinidad and Tobago's permanent representative to the United Nations and PNM's candidate for the constituency of Arima. Senator the Honorable Foster Cummings, PNM's candidate for the constituency of Lohokita Talparo and General Secretary for the People's National Movement. Alderman Roger Monroe, PNM's candidate for the constituency of Toko Sandy Grande. Ms. Raquel Bisoun, PNM's candidate for the constituency of Chaguanas West. Jovan Mitchell, Youth Officer of the PNM's Arima constituency and tonight's Youth Speaker. Mr. Cagney Casimir, Deputy Mayor of the Arima Borough Council and Chairman of the PNM's Arima Constituency Executive. Members of the Council of the Arima Borough Corporation, Ms. Laurel Izama Leasing, Public Relations Officer of the party and other party officials, members of the executive of the Arima constituency, members of the audience, online viewers, constituents of Arima. My name is Janice Scott, the councillor for the District of Calvary in the Arima Borough Corporation and the PNM's Arima Youth League chairman. Tonight, I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to tonight's proceedings as we officially open the campaign office for Her Excellency Pennelope Beckles Robinson and the incoming Member of Parliament for the constituency of Arima.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Luana Guerra, Chairman of the Arima Women's League and former Deputy Mayor of Arima. I wish to welcome you, our live audience, and you, our virtual audience, to this evening's proceedings as we celebrate a very auspicious occasion. We thank you for your presence. I am co-host of this evening's proceedings, and it promises to be a very informative and entertaining evening, and I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening with us. Once again, welcome.
Okay, so who is excited to get tonight's proceedings started? That is always so lovely to hear how lively, our guests are always, perform in events such as this. So now we will invite Mr. Marlon Guerra to play the national anthem on the steel pan. Of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Thank you very much. Please remain standing. I now wish to invite to the podium a member of the Arima campaign team, Mr. Keith Pereira, to do the opening prayer and the blessing of the office.
Thank you very much, host. Her Excellency and other candidates, Foster Cummins and Mr. Monroe, ladies and gentlemen, guests. Years ago, if you told me I would have had to wear a mask to go into a bank, that would have been a surprise. But today, anywhere you go, you have to wear a mask. Sorry, I cannot wear my mask and do what I'm called to do this evening. We are here in company of special people. Every one of you are special. We are here to bless and open the campaign office. The Bible tells me in the book of Isaiah chapter 9, for unto us, verse 6 that is, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will rest upon his shoulders. The reason I chose this scripture, when we think about the formation of government, it is recorded in the Bible. The structure of government, it speaks about authority. It is in the Bible. So when we go around and we just find ourselves making statements such as we're in silly season, what we are speaking is death into our very country, death into our own government. There is nothing silly in voting for Pennelope Beckles in Arima. You can clap, you know. There is nothing silly in voting for Foster Cummins in Lauqueta Talparo. Nothing silly for voting for Mr. Monroe in Toko Sandy Grande. And if you believe we have 3 successful candidates here tonight, put your hands together. And my dear lady, 4th, she came in here so petite, I didn't recognize you. My apologies, ma'am. Yes, we are here to bless this office. But let me put you on guard. As we bless this office, we want to bless the candidates. We want to bless the country. We want to bless our party, 41 candidates. Very important. And we're not going to go out there and follow these talk show hosts and say, we're in silly season. We are selecting a government. When Jesus Christ, the prophecy of his birth was proclaimed in Isaiah, it spoke about the government, talking about structure. So if you're talking about structure, how could it be silly? It can't be silly. life and death is in the power of the tongue. If we say it's silly season, then we are selecting people who will act silly. And we see much of it, but not in this PNM, not in these 41 candidates under the leadership of our Prime Minister. Dr. Let's pray. Father, we thank you. We bless you. We praise you, Father, for this evening, oh God. We've come together, Lord. We've congregated, oh God, to bless this campaign office. And Lord, we lead off this campaign, Lord, in prayer. For you said in your word, O God, it is a good thing to give thanks unto you, Lord, for it is your purpose concerning us. So we declare this place as holy ground. We declare this office is blessed here tonight. We declare everyone under the sound of my voice, they are blessed. Even those that are streaming, we declare our candidates present here tonight, they are blessed. We declare, oh God, our political leader, he's blessed. We declare our 41 candidates across Trinidad and Tobago, they are blessed, oh God, Father. We thank you, Father, for us, Lord, for an attitude of servitude upon them, Father. We declare, Lord, as they are elected to serve, they will serve with dignity, with humility, with pride and honor, Father. They will serve knowing, oh God, Lord, that it is you who raises up one and you will take down the other, Lord. So we declare this event tonight blessed. We are blessed and we are highly favored. And if you agree with me, say amen. And amen. Put your hands together for the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Wow, that was very powerful. So now we will introduce to the podium the campaign manager for the successful campaign in Arima for Her Excellency Pennelope Beckles, Mr. Leroy Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's extremely pleasing to know that on your team you have somebody like Pastor Keith Pereira to help to guide us along from day to day. Thank you very much for that powerful prayer. Her Excellency Pennelope Beckles, Trinidad and Tobago's permanent representative to the United Nations and PNM candidate for the Constituency of Arima. Senator the Honorable Foster Cummins, PNM candidate for the constituency of La Hocata Talparo and General Secretary of the PNM. Alderman Roger Monroe, PNM candidate for the constituency of Toko Sangre Grande. Ms. Raquel Bissoon, PNM candidate for the constituency of Chaguanas West. Jovan Mitchell, our youth officer of the PNM Arima constituency, and tonight's youth speaker. Mr. Kagni Casimir, Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Arima and Chairman of the PNM Arima Constituency Executive. Members of the Council of the Arima Borough Corporation. Members of the Executive of the Arima Constituency. Members of the audience, online viewers, constituents of Arima. Tonight I want to take some poetic license as I welcome you to this formal opening of our campaign office, the campaign office of Team Penny 2020. By now, all of you in our local audience would have seen and now know that the party has chosen PNM the right choice as its slogan for the 2020 campaign. Those of you streaming in the national audience who do not know, I take this opportunity to introduce it to you. PNM, the right choice. This occasion tonight is not just about our campaign office, nor is it just about PNM, the right choice. And here is where I take my poetic license. It is about Penny Beckles, the right choice. Penny Beckles, the right choice for tonight. Penny Beckles, the right choice on Election Day, August 10th, 2020. So, ladies and gentlemen, the management of Team Penny 2020, of which I am campaign manager, extends an especially warm and cordial welcome to all of you in attendance at this formal opening of the campaign office and the inaugural formal event of this campaign in support of the candidacy of Ms. Pennelope Beckles, our PNM candidate for the constituency of Arima. We appreciate your presence, your viewing, and your support. We know that you are with us because you love our party, the PNM. You love our country, Trinidad and Tobago, and you love our candidate, Pennelope Beckles. Many of you will know that while the formal opening is tonight, important activities commenced immediately upon Ms. Beckles' success at the screening exercise, even while she was in quarantine. We started late, but a lot has been accomplished. I wish to acknowledge the efforts, assistance, and support from persons near and far, from constituencies here and there, who have rallied to be with us and continue to contribute in one form or fashion to accomplishing our goal of ensuring the PNM and Penny Beckles are the right choice on election day. The response from constituents and volunteers has been overwhelming, and we thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we in this constituency had benefited tremendously from Ms. Beckles' presence in Parliament and in the cabinet in the past. She served us well then. She established an unbeatable track record, and it is for this reason we once again know that she is the right choice for our constituency, the right choice for Arima constituency. In fact, she has not only served Arima well, she has served the entire country well. I have had touching, heartwarming, and flattering experiences over the past weeks when I engaged visitors to this campaign office, visitors from far and wide across the country, from all racial and ethnic groups who have come pledging their support to her. They would sit with me and share their experiences and memories of her, how she dealt with them, how she treated them, and what she did for them. I remember distinctly one person saying, "She did not treat me like a minister." And for this, we are proud of her. And that is why we know that she is the right choice, not just for Arima, but for the country. She is the right choice for us on August 10th when we go to the polls. In this time of vacuous and emotive haranguing, when promises of 50,000 jobs and reduced taxation are seductively bandied about as serious solutions to our economic revival, and serious white-collar charges, not yet adjudicated upon, are being consigned to the dustbin of history by UNC personnel, we need to ensure that on election day, August 10th, 2020, we elect decent and level-headed persons, respectable persons, knowledgeable persons, persons of integrity, persons of character to serve us. And such a person is Ms. Pennelope Beckles. She is the right choice. So as we move stridently forward to vote on election day, and as the pace of this campaign increases, we look forward to election night when we will be able to join with 40 other constituencies to affirm, as we've always done in the past, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and it shall prevail. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, I now wish to welcome to the podium our youth speaker. He is Jovan Mitchell. He is 22 years old, former chairman of the PNM's Arima Youth League. He also served at one time as secretary of the Arima Youth League. He has also served in the capacity of guild president of Trinidad and Tobago's Hotel and Tourism Institute, where he was chef grand. He is currently the youth officer of the PNM's Arima constituency. Jovan's personal mantra is, "If I can help someone along the way, my living shall not be the same." Please join me in welcoming to the podium Jovan Mitchell.
Deputy Mayor of Arima, Chairman of the constituency, Mr. Cagney Casimir, our candidate, the Arima Golden Girl, my mentor, and the next Member of Parliament for Arima, Ms. Pennelope Beckles. Candidate for La Hoqueta Talparo, General Secretary of the PNM, Senator Foster Cummings. Candidate for Toko Sandy Grande, Alderman Roger Monroe. All specially invited guests. We welcome also the young people viewing this program via Facebook or Instagram. We assure you that there is no better place to be than in the house or family of the People's National Movement, the PNM. Good evening. Today is truly a great day for me, and it is truly an honor as a young person to stand on this platform to deliver this address as a PNM youth, a recipient of a PNM education, a product of a PNM foundation, and a representation of what the PNM can do for young people in this country. As we dive into the true essence of today's proceedings, I would like to take this time to inform each and every one of you that the People's National Movement has done great things while in government. And they have done way more for young people in Trinidad and Tobago than any other government has done or will ever dream of doing. The PNM has provided us with GATE, self-help grants, education grants, entrepreneurship opportunities, the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, and if I could think far enough, even box lunch. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I can go on and on and on and list many other programs and initiatives that the PNM has done and will continue to do for young people in this country. I am absolutely proud of the sterling achievement of the PNM government, and I celebrate and acknowledge without any reservation whatsoever the achievement of the PNM. But let us not digress too far for the real reason of us being here this evening. As a true PNM schoolboy, while researching and preparing this statement, one of the ideas stuck in my mind, and that was, what is the importance of launching something? What does the word to launch really means? And it means to start or set in motion, to press forward, to move. It means to start or set in motion, to press forward, to move. And we, the people of the PNM, are set and ready. We, the people of the PNM, are ready and waiting to be voted back into governance in this country. We, the people of the PNM, are ready, and we, the people of Arima, believe that there is no better candidate to represent our constituency than the great woman of Ms. Pennelope Beckles. Indeed, there is none other who can sit equal or match her stature to represent Arima. Ms. Beckles is resilient and resolute. She is a beacon of light and a pillar of inspiration. She is a woman of the people, by the people, and for the people of Arima, representing prosperity and working for progress. It is the belief of all Arima people, including the young people, that Penny, as we formally call her, when elected, will be the right choice. and this is the right time. For working towards leadership, good leading, and a future developing Arima. Young people, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to sit and think, reflect on Penny's campaign motto: people, prosperity, progress. What does these watchwords really mean for you, Arima? This positive benchmark can only be met under a PNM government. This isn't those fly-by-night parties or a pick-a-side party. The People's National Movement is a strong institution, a strong establishment by our founding father on principles and ethics, honor and integrity in upholding high morals and values in public life. The People's National Movement is the best choice for managing, sustaining, and uplifting Trinidad and Tobago. And Pennelope Beckles, the PNM candidate for Arima, is by far the best choice for this constituency and this country. We all have one responsibility, and our responsibility is to make the right choice on August 10th. Get up early in the morning and find yourself at the polling station and put your X by the balize, for that is the right choice. Young people, senior citizens, ladies and gentlemen, each of you, everybody, we are counting on your vote because no other government has the interests of our young people at heart. Today marks a new day, the start of setting something in motion, something new. And according to an African proverb, if I stand tall, it's because I stand on the backs of those who have come before me. And I am sure we can all agree that the People's National Movement is ready to continue the great work that the party has started under the astute leadership of our captain, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. More than 3 decades after the late Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, founding father of the PNM, said, "The future of our nation is in the children's school bag." This institution still continues to press forward and push our youths to elevate themselves. Programs like 40 Under 40, a mentorship program for youths of Trinidad and Tobago, Empower, targeting young men between 16 and 29, aiming at helping them to identify and deal with issues important to them. Also, not forgetting our young women, Pink Rain, which facilitate development of young women through sports and physical activity. As we launch this campaign and launch ourselves into a bright new future, let us not forget the words of George Lucas. Technology keeps moving forward, which makes it easier for the artists to tell their story and paint the picture that they want. Let us come out on August 10th and paint the picture that Trinidad and Tobago is red once again. A vote for the PNM is a vote for a better Trinidad and Tobago, a better future, and a better day. A vote for Pennelope Beckles is a vote for a vibrant Arima, a redefined Arima, and a new smart city, technology-based Arima. Our launch today, my brothers and sisters, is not just a campaign launch. It is a movement, a stance against the opposition destroying the great work and the pathway that the PNM has identified for us. And as a young person growing up in Arima, I make this clarion call. Let us all stand together and make the right choice for progress, the right choice for prosperity, the right choice for people, especially young people who are the future leaders of this great nation. Let us make the right choice and vote for Penny. And on August 10th, let us sign the name Pennelope Beckles with our PNM pen as a member of parliament for Arima, so that when the ballots are counted and victory is won, we can stand in one accord and say, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we have prevailed. I thank you.
I think we could do a bit better than that. if Jovan Mitchell isn't a perfect example of what a PNM youth is, I don't know what is. You know, he's bright, he's intelligent, and he's someone committed to the elevation of our communities, and that is a true testament to what the People's National Movement has been able to do for the lives of young people. Our next speaker is no stranger to service and executing representation of a high caliber. Roger Monroe is currently serving as an alderman in the Sandy Grande Regional Corporation, and soon he will take up his new role as Member of Parliament for Toko Sandy Grande. Roger Monroe is a young businessman who is rooted in the constituency of Sandy Grande. He has spent his life devoted to the upliftment and to the development of the constituency that he loves, serving as an alderman and committed to voluntary services through religious activities, youth work, cultural and sporting activities has indicated just that. He has indicated that he is focused on uplifting, developing, expanding, and enhancing the uniqueness of the land to reduce employment and to increase financial stability in his constituency. So put your hands together for the right choice, for the only choice, for the next Member of Parliament for Toko Sandy Grande, Alderman Roger Monroe.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. My fellow candidates, Her Excellency Mrs. Pennelope Beckles, Senator Foster Cummins, Deputy Mayor Kagni Kasmi, ladies and gentlemen, viewing and listening public, good evening. People have been asking, who is Roger Monroe? Well, I am Roger Monroe, a son of the soil of Sandy Grande, grandson of Percy Thomas, a long-standing businessman and outstanding citizen of Sandy Grande and the wider region. The qualities that I possess are as a direct result of the upbringing and the values my grandfather instilled in me, which I have not deviated from. These values allowed me to express my gratitude by being his main support from the time of his illness until the time of his passing. Tonight, I assure you, my people of Toko Sandy Grande, Trinidad and Tobago, that I will use these values to stand, represent, and to support you. Having lived all my life in Sandy Grande, I had the opportunity to be molded, mentored, and groomed to be who I am today, an advocate for the improvement of the community and the wider region. And an astute businessman who continued to serve, and that drove me to offer myself for service at another level. I am very familiar with service. I remember during the disaster and unfortunate incidents in my constituency, Toko Sandy Grande that is, it is not uncommon for me to respond like a first responder without requests to the needs of citizens. Example, assisting in the 2018 national flood, providing COVID relief throughout the constituency through my own mobilization efforts. As a result of my involvement in the life of the community, I was appointed an alderman at the Sandy Grande Regional Corporation. Tonight, many may ask the question, what are my plans? What I want for my region? I want youth development and empowerment through education and sport. I want job creation. I want infrastructure development. I want agricultural development. I want skill development and training geared towards opportunities with the development of the port in Toko, the building of the hospital in Sangre Grande, and the business opportunities through the expansion of the road network to facilitate industrialized development. Often persons use words to describe me, and the first letters of these words spell my name. So I'm going to spell my name for you tonight with these words. And the first letter of the first word is R for respectful, O for organized, G for generous, E for effective, R for rational. With these qualities, I trust that the people of Toko Sangre Grande, Arima, Chaguanas West, La Joqueta Talparo give us their support to be their next members of parliament. Make the right choice. On the night of August the 10th, we shall shout resoundingly, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you very much, Alderman Monroe, and we look forward to celebrating with you on August 10th. Ladies and gentlemen, I can smell the sweet scent of victory. Victory for our next speaker on August 10th. He has served with distinction as an opposition and most recently as a government senator in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. He is the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government. He is the General Secretary of the greatest and the most resilient party in the Caribbean, the People's National Movement. He is hardworking, and he is committed to service excellence. Please join me in welcoming to the podium with a lusty round of applause the next Member of Parliament for the constituency of La Joqueta Talparo, Senator Foster Cummings.
Thank you very kindly, Master of Ceremonies, for that introduction, and allow me to say a special good night to Her Excellency Ambassador Pennelope Beckles and to the next, of course, the candidate for Arima constituency and our next Member of Parliament for Arima. I'd like to also recognize our candidate for Toko Sangre Grande, my colleague, Alderman Roger Monroe, the next Member of Parliament for Toko Sangre Grande. We also have with us our candidate for Chaguanas West, and she tells us that on a scale of 1 to 10, she will score 11 in becoming the next Member of Parliament for Chaguanas West. May I also say good night to the chairman of the Constituency of Arima, Alderman Kagni Kazime, Mr. Campaign Manager. I see also in the midst Councillor from my constituency, Councillor Kerry-Ann Kasmali, and welcome to all of you. Former Mayor, Chairman of Toko Sangre Grande is also here with us. Former Minister Piggott. I think I also saw former MP Nyleong Hippolyte is here. And to all, former Minister Esther Leger is also here. We have quite a beautiful PNM audience. Give yourself a lusty round of applause. Friends and constituents of Arima, and to the viewing and listening public of Trinidad and Tobago, and indeed the diaspora across North America and Europe, who are keen to see and hear what is happening with our elections here in Trinidad and Tobago. Let us welcome as well our Public Relations Officer, Ms. Laurel Lizama Leasing. My name is Foster Cummings, and I am the MP incoming for the constituency of La Hoqueta Talparo. I don't understand why people are saying La Hoqueta Talparo is a marginal constituency. We won the constituency by 3,000 votes, whipping the life out of the UNC. And today they're calling it a marginal constituency. Well, let us just wait until August the 10th, and we will show the UNC where to take their Yellow Brigade, certainly out of La Hoqueta Talparo. The PNM will be victorious in Arima. The PNM will be victorious in Toco Sandy Grande, and the PNM will form the next government of Trinidad and Tobago under the stewardship of the leader, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. I've come here tonight to support my sister, Her Excellency, Pennelope Beckles, a lover of the people, not only the people of Arima, but the people of Trinidad and Tobago. She has demonstrated a concern for the welfare of Arima, and I say to you tonight that Arima is embedded in her DNA. She loves Arima, and Arima will demonstrate how much they love her on August the 10th. Vote solidly for Pennelope Beckles Robinson. Your Excellency, you have represented Arima before, and you have also served this country and party on 2 occasions under the current leader and under a previous leader. You have distinguished yourself as ambassador to the United Nations, and we are pleased and proud to have you as our standard bearer in Arima as our next member of parliament for this constituency. You have walked with me in La Hoqueta, and I've seen the love overflowing as you walk along the streets of La Hoqueta. Something you have done there in the past has clearly stayed with the people of La Hoqueta. And so I intend to rub a lot of that love my way as we walk together as brother and sister in the PNM. There's overwhelming support for the PNM. And that love is going to demonstrate itself on the 10th as the people of La Hoqueta, Greenvale, Wallerfield, San Rafael come out in their large numbers throughout the constituency. We are going to blow them out of the water. People are calling me every day, afraid. I see somebody from the UNC walk. Well, they have to walk. They are candidate. They're part of the race. They're going to play second. There's only one place for a winner, and I am going to be that person in La Hoqueta Talparo. So don't get caught up with all talk. Elections are won by votes, not PR and all talk. And once you get yourself to the polling station very early on August the 10th, and you put your X next to the balize, and you take your family with you, and your friends, and your neighbor, and your colleagues at work, and everyone that you can influence, be focused and know that we have a big decision to make. The decision is whether we will allow this country to go down the slippery slope that we experienced during 2010 and 2015. We were warned. I was in Penal when the former Prime Minister warned Trinidad and Tobago about taking a chance with your future and electing that person as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And his words came to fruition. I was in Trinidad and Tobago when former Prime Minister Pandey warned us and said, do not elect that lady as your Prime Minister. And we had the experience of 2010 to 2015 when they raped and they plundered and they stole and they theft and they did everything wrong and nothing right. And today, the PNM under Dr. Rowley has steered the ship safely for the last 5 years. Across the world, we are experiencing a pandemic. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we have ranked #1. A little dot on the map. In the Caribbean Sea, down to the bottom, they call us Southeast in some part of the Caribbean. And we have been able to distinguish ourselves because of leadership, because of A-class leadership. Will we trust our lives, the life of our children and grandchildren and those to come after us, to the hands of the UNC? Who told us that it's because of the sun that we doing so well in Trinidad and Tobago? Well, they have sun in Brazil, you know. Ask them. Several places, sun don't only shine on Trinidad and Tobago, you know. We need sober leadership. I heard somebody recently calling the constituency of St. Joseph Tableland and Barataria Saria or something. I said, what happened here? Where are we going with that? Are we going back to that? I say, never again. Never again. To my friend from Toko Sandy Grande, Mr. Roger Monroe, the next member of parliament for Sandy Grande. That's when you clap, eh? You know, you have to clap for that. He's a son of the soil. And I know that you have great plans for the development of the eastern town of Sandy Grande. At some point, I have some relationship with Sandy Grande. My mother was from Sandy Grande, and I still have a lot of relatives who reside there. For a brief time of my life, I spent just a couple months, but I did attend a primary school in Sandy Grande for a couple months. As a little boy, I was probably, I think I was in standard 1. Always remember that stretch going up to Kunaripo. We'd walk to school, eh? And you stop in the cocoa field. You had a good time. I love that town of Sandy Grande. I know you have great plans for Sandy Grande. And I want to say to you, my brother, do not be distracted. You see, what I've learned entering the electoral politics is that people are going to come at you from all directions. I think there are 2 times that I pray a lot. Well, now there's 2. First, what had #1 place was on an airplane. Especially the small ones. Right? Well, you know, when Mr. Pigotson is flying, I feel a bit comfortable because he navigates well and I feel a bit but I tell you, see that plane to Tobago sometimes? I say so much prayers. I just want to get on the ground. And then, taking #2 place now is electoral politics. I tell you, some of the things that people want you to do and ask you to do, you need Jesus on your side, you know. I shared with my staff today. A lady sent me a message on the phone asking me to assist her with something. And Trinidad and Tobago, when I said I could not assist the lady, you would not believe what is the next message I got. I said to myself, Jesus be with you, and I blocked on the phone. So I say to you, my brother, in this, you're going to come under attack. Don't worry. So I brought Matthew 5:44 for you. And I'm going to read it for you, because I think this can help you along the way. Matthew 5:44. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and send rain on the just and on the unjust. Yes, I know you will do well in Toko Sandy Grande. My friends, when I consider that citizens are called upon to make a choice that will affect each and every one of us in the future, I say to you tonight, as the candidate for a next member of parliament for La Hoqueta Talparo, as the General Secretary of the People's National Movement, as a son, as a father, and as a husband, and a grandfather. I just don't want him to call my grandpas yet. I say to you, Trinidad and Tobago, in Arima, you vote resoundingly for Pennelope Beckles as your next member of parliament. In Toko Sandy Grande, do not gamble with your future and vote for Roger Monroe as your next member of parliament. And in La Hoqueta Talparo, you vote solidly for the Balize. You vote solidly for Foster Cummings and bring good representation to the constituency of La Hoqueta Talparo. I commend you tonight on the opening of your campaign office. You are going to do well in Arima. You are going to increase the vote. You are going to win resoundingly. And we will be able to say on August the 10th, great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. If that is just a piece of the power that we get in tonight, I can't wait to see you as the next member of parliament for La Hoqueta Talparo. One more round of applause for the incoming MP. So now we invite Mr. John Thomas to bless us with a musical interlude. He is known for his soulful and melodious voice. He lends his talent to the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, but we are proud that he is born and bred in Arima. Mr. John Thomas.
God bless a nation of many varied races. May we possess that common love that binds and makes us one. Let it be known around the world that we can boast of unity and take our pride in our liberty. God bless our eyes of tropic beauty rare, or flaming Point Sienna and shady water, the warm and sparkling waters that break upon our shores, beat out a tune that seems to tell we take our pride us to guide. Bestow on them thy judgment wise, to rule our land aright, to keep the flag of freedom high, that we can boast those lustily and take our pride in our liberty. We take our pride in our liberty. Great is the PNM.
Thank you very much, John. I met you recently on the campaign trail, and I told you that I'm a fan. I'm an even bigger fan tonight. I now wish to invite to the podium the Deputy Mayor of Arima, Alderman Cagney Casimir, who is also chairman of the PNM's Arima constituency, who will introduce our next speaker, Mr. Casimir.
Thank you, co-hosts of tonight's proceedings, Lady Vice Chair of the constituency, Ms. Luana Guerra, and co-host, Councillor Ginny Scott. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, our PNM family. Let me recognize our audience, local and international, through our live virtual presentation from the tongue of Arima, the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Members of the People's National Movement, General Secretary, candidate for La Hoqueta Talparo, Senator the Honorable Foster Cummings, candidate Toko Sandy Grande, Alderman Roger Monroe, candidate for Chaguanas West, Rachel Bassoon, members of the Penny 2020 campaign team, Arima Constituency Executive, Corporation Chairman, former mayors, former members of parliament, former ministers, former chairman of the constituency, campaign manager, and the many well-wishers. This evening, I'm given the distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you our featured speaker, our PNM candidate, a woman of many firsts, one who exemplifies achievement and contributions, an exemplar for women and men, in particular young women. And let me recognize our public relations officer there, Laurel Izama, Public Relations Officer of the People's National Movement. In my brief allotted time of 4 minutes, I will try to condense, and by the way, this is my third version of this introduction. I will try to condense and give you 3 sides of this rare coin: Penny's family background, her contributions to the party, and her national and international service. Penny Beckles is a wife, mother, and an aunt to many as Auntie Penny, by profession and vocation a lawyer, diplomat, and politician. This stateswoman was born in a small village called Nav, and like most small villages, the community was a sharing, close-knit one with non-asphalt roads and few pipe-borne households. She came from a humble background. Penny has 5 siblings, 4 brothers, and a beloved and fiercely passionate sister who sadly passed in 2015. Her vision and passion for the working class, and as a woman of purpose, resilience, and strength, that comes from her father, Lionel Beckles, a trade unionist of the highest rank of the OWTU, and her focus mother, Elizabeth Beckles. We all know them as Ma and Pa Becky. Schooled at St. Joseph Convent, San Fernando, Pennelope Beckles gained her Bachelor of Laws honors from the UWI campuses of St. Augustine and Cave Hill, and earned her LEC at the Hugh Woodings Law School in 1988. In 1991, Penny Beckles joined the People's National Movement and served in many positions, as a coordinator for the local government elections for the Arima Borough Council, a constituency coordinator for La Hoqueta, a representative at General Council, and she also held the national executive positions of Youth League Officer, Female, and Lady Vice Chair of the party. She was chairman of the Women's League, a member of the Education Committee, Foreign Affairs Committee, Research and Fields Officer Committee, and as a party faithful, Penny offered herself for the positions of chairman of the party, and in 2014, as political leader, the first woman to do so with a full slate of candidates. As a party member, Penny has given distinguished service at all levels. In 1992, she became royal when she became a councillor of the Royal Chartered Borough of Arima, and in 1996, an opposition senator. In 2000, Penny became the Member of Parliament for Arima and has the distinction of fighting 3 back-to-back general elections and winning them all. That is 2000, 2001, 2002, and then in 2007. Her ministerial appointments were Minister of Social Development, Minister of Culture and Tourism, Minister of Public Utilities and Environment, where she championed the electrification of Trinidad and Tobago. We all know Penny light up Trinidad and Tobago at that time. Her 10 acting appointments includes Attorney General, Minister of Finance, Minister of Energy, and Minister of National Security, and there were 10. In 2007, Her Excellency was also elected as the first female Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and has experienced opposition politics as an opposition member of Parliament, an opposition senator, and leader of the opposition in the Senate. Internationally, Her Excellency was appointed in 2016 as the permanent representative of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to the United Nations in New York, and Ambassador Beckles Robertson is at present a member of 5 committees. In fact, she was a member of 10. She's now presently a member of 5. The UN Economic and Social Council Ad Hoc Advisory Committee on Haiti, co-chair of the UN Open-Ended Informal Consultative Process on the Oceans and the Law of the Sea, member of Parliamentarians for Global Action, the UN Advisory Committee, vice president of the Executive Board of the UN Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women, and she's also a vice president of the 74th session of the General Assembly. Her Excellency, Ambassador Pennelope Beckles Robertson, is recognized by the UWI Institute for Gender and Development as one of the outstanding 70-plus UD women, and that is not age, my friends. She was presented with the Pelican Award at the 26th Annual Legacy Awards Gala of the American Foundation for the University of the West Indies, and currently she is the co-chair of the 23rd Annual Legacy Awards Gala. You would remember on September 26, 2019, Her Excellency Ambassador Pennelope Beckles Robertson, together with our esteemed Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, ringing the NASDAQ bell to signify the start of the day's trading, a day of recognition for Trinidad and Tobago. There are 2 other areas where Penny's acclamation is most dear to her heart, and one is of her contribution to the credit union movement with her strategic work at the Eastern Credit Union and Kuna Caribbean Limited. But Penny's most acclaimed, and I say most acclaimed, recognition is Victory Salutatorium at UWI as captain of the table tennis team, where she represented Cave Hill campus, not only in table tennis, but also the 800 and 1500 meters. And Penny will beat anybody here at table tennis. Challenge her. Ladies and gentlemen, as voiced before, a lady of achievement, recognition, experience, and distinction. With best wishes and God's blessing, I, on behalf of the Arima constituency, am pleased and excited to invite to the podium the People's National Movement candidate and our incoming or next Member of Parliament for the constituency of Arima, as we stand, Her Excellency, Ambassador Pennelope Beckles Robertson, the right choice at the right time. Ladies and gentlemen,
Choice at the right time.
I
My name is Gary Douglas, and this is River Valley, right? Miss Penny, we do all the Serene back here. All them lights, water, everything, road, everything she handled for me. Yeah, well, Penny is the girl. Everybody know we voted for Penny. You understand? Penny, one way to get is we vote for Penny. And everybody know we voted for Penny. Penny is the girl and we voted for Penny. Everybody know that. The whole Arima voted for Penny. The whole Arima voted for Penny. Everybody know that. The whole Arima know that. Penny is the girl. No matter what they do, what they say, that we girl.
Anyway, we vote in PNM on election day. Vote for Penny. We go for the road. Don't give them your vote.
I almost didn't recognize who Cagney was talking about. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, for those really warm words of welcome. Let me acknowledge, of course, co-host Luana Guerra and Councillor Ginny Scott. Again, our Deputy Mayor and Chairman of Arima. Former Ministers Esther Legendre and Arnold Piggott, Councillors Kazmali, Roger Moore, former Mayor George Hadid, and especially to acknowledge my two brothers sitting at the table with me, the next Member of Parliament for Toko Sandy Grande, Mr. Roger Moore. Monroe. I'm mixing up Roger. I just talk about Roger Moore, who is the councillor for Blanchisseuse La Hoqueta. The next Member of Parliament for Toko Sandy Grande, Roger Monroe. And next Member of Parliament for La Hoqueta Talparo, Mr. Foster Cummings. And of course, Rachel Bissoon, the next Member of Parliament for Chaguanas West. My campaign manager, Leroy Williams, and other members of the campaign team, and my husband, Mr. Noel Robinson. I hope that after you have heard Foster literally light up this room, I hope you are all ready to vote for the right choice on the 10th of August. Let me hear you. The People's National Movement. So, the August 10th general elections are fast approaching, and the Eastern constituency are being fielded by 3 and 4 political parties. And you have to ask yourself why. The answer is that our Talparo Senator Foster Cummings and our candidate for Toko Sandy Grande, Roger Monroe, they are all ready. They are excited. The entire constituency is constituencies are excited. And we look forward to victory in La Hoqueta Talparo and, of course, in Toko Sandy Grande. So here we are live and staying alive. Senator Cummings, Mr. Monroe, and I are all energized to serve, and we have been in our constituencies meeting you, listening and addressing your immediate concerns, and understanding better the hopes you have for the future. The pace is hectic. We have been walking up hills, of course, knocking door to door, visiting and covering all over our respective constituencies. And as we come down to August 10th, I intend to meet as many of you as possible, wherever you are. So if you haven't seen me as yet, hopefully you will meet me very soon. Tonight, I am so excited to officially launch my campaign for the Arima constituency. This is my 4th time around, and I look to another successful campaign. My efforts have always been for the PNM team. The history of the PNM has been about helping the citizens of the country to realize their goals. I am offering myself in service to you for another time, for the youth, for the elderly, for the socially challenged, for those who are in the remote, beautiful northern range, for those in the borough of Arima, those on the coast, and those in the residential communities. I am offering myself again to the Arima constituency. I know that this year, democracy is alive and well in Arima. There are 4 women offering themselves as candidates in the Arima 2020 election. I actually think that this is the first time in the history of Arima that all the candidates are women. But there can only be one. I come from a PNM tradition of strong female leadership who have stood with the men of the party to change the face of this country. In the PNM, women have always held a special place in our party and have served this country soberly. But this election in Arima is not about gender, it is about agenda and the fortitude to fulfill the interests of the people. I have been a champion for urban, residential, and rural development in Arima for over 20 years. And if you vote and elect me as your next representative for the constituency of Arima, I assure you that my agenda will not only focus on getting you working again or empowering the youth and those who agree with me to progress. My agenda is focused on what my campaign slogan says: people, progress, and prosperity. I will continue to forge development that enables the people to progress and prosper. The PNM has a legacy of good governance. Those ideals have sustained us through the ages. What is amazing is that political parties have come and gone, but we remain steady and sober in our thrust to create infrastructure and environment that enables people to progress and prosper in a sustainable way. Under a PNM government, there are no pie-in-the-sky promises or policies that foster a sense of irresponsibility or irrationality. The current opposition is proposing to dismantle the property tax. Remember OPVs, remember the Motor Vehicle Authority. But the PNM has never been in the business of destroying state institutions or forfeiting accountability. The political leaders of the PNM have always been out front with presenting implementable strategic plans for the development of the entire nation, whatever the color of their flag. Under the late Patrick Manning's administration, the Trinidad and Tobago's economy prospered and our government saved hundreds of millions of dollars in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund for the rainy days, for the generations to come. During the early 2000s, it was a PNM government that was responsible for the conceptualization and construction of the Tamina Intech Park. That park stands today as a catalytic site for the future of our country's economic, academic, environmental, and technological developments. The opponents on the other side have included in their master plan a solar tech park within the Tamina E-Tech Park. But do not be fooled by these proposals. These proposals are not their own, and they are bereft of original thought. In 2017, at the energy conference hosted by the Energy Chamber, the announcement was made that the Tamina and the Point Lisas Industrial Estate were on their way to hosting the first solar panel manufacturing plants. The PNM is the party of ideas that allow for sustainable and environmental development. The wanton mismanagement of National Affairs by the PP administration put this country's 10 years behind the PNM's Vision 2020 development goals. Under the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley, PNM's administration, the Vision 2030 National Development Strategy was launched in 2016. The former leader of that PP administration has today mustered up the aspiration to propose a national economic transformation master plan. The document is one part tabloid and one part tragedy. If you were to elect them to implement that, as their inability to deliver a viable plan would be fully realized by all. In 2016, my Prime Minister of Visionary appointed me as Trinidad and Tobago's permanent representative to the United Nations, and in that capacity was party to the discussion and planning for the global development goals and recommendations for the development of the countries like ours. I was also instrumental in the forecasting and implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals at the UN. I was even privy to the Malaysian Economic Transformation Program, which the opposition so-called plans mimic only in name and not in structure or viability. I was part of the Paris Agreement on the climate change and confirmed Trinidad and Tobago's commitment to reducing cumulative gas emissions from industry, power generation, and transport sectors by 2030. Additionally, I presented the first voluntary national review at the high-level political forum last week towards the Global 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The world was impressed with what we had been able to achieve. Global economic instability and the coronavirus pandemic. Your Red Army has protected you and ensured your survival through a global economic crisis. Fluctuations in the energy sector and strategically deployed a plan that halted the spread of the COVID-19 and kept us safe even as much more powerful nations struggle. Economic development analysis have predicted that in the post-COVID-19 era, there will be a greater dependency on technology. They foresee a food insecurity crisis of global proportions and a crippling of tourism economies. Building on my experience in sustained development in line with the strategies outlined in the National Strategic Development Plan, I am well placed to continue the development of Arima. My goal is really to see Arima and other constituencies pilot and transition fully into smart cities and smart constituencies. I have spoken about this on several occasions. However, tonight, I want to focus on 4 areas regarding smart city infrastructure and our readiness for this transformation. And the 4 areas are technology, industrialization, food security, and tourism. As I speak about technology, and as I just said, I have spoken on several occasions about smart cities, smart constituencies. This is about everyone in the Arima constituency, and by extension, Trinidad and Tobago, benefiting from the implementation of the broadband infrastructure across the constituency. This would create the framework upon which government and citizens can build an interactive digital platform that enables improved delivery of government services with increased two-way communication and faster responsiveness at the borough and regional corporation levels. Smart cities are also about the increased use of technology that enables sensors and systems to monitor public spaces, environmental conditions, traffic management, crops and animals, and much more. and the introduction of modern education approaches to provide students with the skills they need to add value to technology and our ability to compete in the global economy. We are talking about introducing students to coding and programming so they can develop solutions to the problems of everyday life. The groundwork for this has already started in 2009. The visionary PNM administration established the basis for it. Power delivery through TT Connect, powered by iGovTT. And today, nearly 50 interactions with governments can now be performed online, resulting in reduced waiting time for citizens. Think about the time and money saved because of having to travel to a government office. You can complete a procedure such as filling out taxes online, also license was computerized, and 5 new satellite offices were created. If you want to see progress in technological development, all we need is continuity of government. So I suggest to you, on August 10th, you vote for technological efficiency. Industrialization technology will drive innovation and enable industry. Given the abundance of the agriculture produce, there are many opportunities for agro-processing industries in the constituencies. This will add value to farm produce by processing and packaging and creating jobs and generating higher returns for farmers. A PNM government will promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, including providing incentives and necessary legal framework to ensure that persons who are serious about investing, beginning or expanding production, whether it is agro-based or not, will, as long as they are engaged in sustainable practices that benefit our citizens, have every opportunity to succeed. Once the trust for development by the PNM is not disrupted, none of my budding opponents will have a basis for their campaign. Industry is not foreign to Arima. It was the PNM that established the Omera Industrial Estate, which continues to provide jobs to thousands in the last couple of years. The PNM government has created opportunities to expand trade, launched the Maruga and Processing Light Industrial Park, secured cooperation agreements with Ghana in the oil and gas sector, and garnered a profit for $500 million from Heritage Petroleum. And people will have you think that no work is being done. People will have you believe, for example, that no work is being done in Trinidad. But a lot has been done, because in 2015, you made the right choice. So I urge you to make the right choice again in 2020 for further advancements in industry. As it relates to food security, post-COVID-19, food security is a priority concern for every government in the world. The rate at which agricultural workers have been affected in some countries has meant that food has had to rot because it cannot be harvested or transported. In countries where a lot of food is imported, it is already a serious concern that the availability of food is affected by what is happening in other countries. Food security, or the ability to ensure the existence of sufficient food for our population when it is needed, is a priority for the People's National Movement. The government has actively enabled farming on individual, entrepreneurial, and industrial levels to ensure our food security. Government has provided 50,000 households with plant seeds. Additionally, agricultural education is offered at secondary, vocational, and tertiary levels, with some of these programs being free. Some, like the cottage agro-processing programs, even offer a stipend. And of course, the gate is available to university students who qualify. The development of our agricultural sector for the 21st century will create jobs and generate higher earning potential for our citizens. Your government, the one you elected without coalition, has in fact been in coalition with you and farmers to develop the agricultural sector. Registered farmers can currently benefit from tax-free production, but we will do more to ensure that they all have a safe, abundant supply of food. We will support our farmers and fishermen with incentives and technology and encourage more persons into agriculture as a business. We will encourage sustainable agricultural practices that balance our need for food production and the preservation of our ecosystems so that nature thrives as we do. We will also encourage hydroponic and vertical farms utilizing smart technology to water crops, controlling lighting and supply of nutrients for all year round intensive food production. Fish husbandry and mariculture will be supported with incentives to increase the yields of our fish folk, whilst helping conserve marine life in our oceans threatened, of course, by overfishing. Tying back to our vision for industrialization, we will incentivize food processing, bringing our unique creativity into business of converting farm produce into exciting packaged products for Trinidad and Tobago and the world. These enabling initiatives will continue to allow for entrepreneurship, industry, trade, and survival. Vote the PNM for a bountiful harvest. The area of tourism for ongoing development, you would recall that just last year, Trinidad and Tobago hosted CARIFESTA 2019. The Assistant General Secretary of CARICOM, Douglas Slater, lauded the organizers for a successful festival. The Minister of Community Development, Culture and the Arts, Dr. Nyan Gasby, said that the culture continues to increasingly impact and strengthen familial and regional bonds. Arima is a biodiverse constituency that will attract nature lovers, and we also have an active indigenous community who are committed to preserving and showcasing the history, culture, and impact that showcasing the history and culture of Arima. They have had our nation, and tourists will see the First Peoples Heritage Village when it is completed soon. The project has been advanced by the outgoing MP for Arima, Mr. Anthony Garcia, who even donated from his personal funds and from the allocation of funds from Dr. Dolly. Continued work and development in both Arima Central and Aripo are being streamlined as well at this point in time. I say to you, therefore, to vote the PNM for the preservation and promotion of our national heritage. If you were to read the UNC's Economic Transformation Master Plan, you must, of course, conclude that their proposal of project was visionary, but I would say to you that is not so. This is because they suggest in their series of construction projects, two which are state-of-the-art aquatic center and a cycling center incidentally. This blank opposition has apparently missed the notice where the PNM had completed the aquatic center and the cycling velodrome. They do not have a clue. It is noteworthy that the current Arima velodrome and cycling facilities were built by the PNM. It is noteworthy, sorry. The other side has proposed sports tourism as an economic initiative. Yet, in recent news, they have condemned the government for hosting the CPL, which is the broadcasting and highlighting of our national to potential investors. Tourism across the globe, maybe those on the, and I would say maybe those on the other side have gone blank to their own vision. In the same way, they have gone blank in recognizing the developments within Trinidad and Tobago over the last 5 years. The PNM has offered no pipe dream. The PNM has allowed Trinidad and Tobago to progress steadily towards the development using technology, diversifying industry, enabling agriculture, and revolutionizing our tourism industry for greater profitability. All, of course, whilst persevering, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but could you just go up a bit? Yes. Okay, the threat that the nations are facing with COVID-19, the threat, that nations are facing with COVID-19 is one that we have to continuously pay attention to. As Foster said a while ago, Trinidad and Tobago has been given the place of #1 by the Oxford University, and we must continue to congratulate our political leader and Prime Minister for an excellent job. So I say to you, come August 10, vote for the People's National Movement for a safe Trinidad and Tobago. It is important for me to note at this stage that one of the main reasons that my two brothers, Foster Cummings and Roger Monroe, two of the main reasons why they're here tonight is that, I mean, we normally talk about sister constituencies, but I guess I could talk about brother constituencies. And for those of you who do not know, that Arima, of course, bounds with Toko Sandy Grande on the eastern side. And on the southern side, our boundary is that of La Hoquita Talparo. There are many similarities with the three constituencies. Agriculture in the main, and for those of you who are not familiar with Matlot and Paria, I mean, that's our boundary. Agriculture, tourism, flora and fauna. I must say Foster has been extremely fortunate in that he will be the Member of Parliament for the largest housing constituency in the Caribbean. That is phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in La Hoqueta. So let's give the PNM and Foster a round of applause. Now, various stakeholders are excited, of course, about my plans for Arima. The plan, which is in line with the national development strategies, culturally, socially, and environmentally, and in many ways designed to specifically enable agricultural entrepreneurship and cultural production in the constituency of Arima. At this point in time, I want to close by saying a couple important things. You know, Foster shared some information with us about La Joqueta Talparo. And as I walk with him in La Joqueta Talparo, people are concerned, and they're concerned because, you know, they're claiming that there is a candidate running against him who has been working that constituency for some time. I am very confident that Foster will be successful. And successful because he's a young candidate. He's bringing some fresh ideas. He's the secretary of the party, and he has been involved in the cooperative movement. He's not new to La Joqueta Talparo. He was screened for that seat before, and he knows the constituency very well. I want to urge especially the young people of La Joqueta Talparo, because I have spoken to them, not just now, but before. And everything in life is not about money. Be careful, and this also goes for the next member of parliament for Toko Sandy Grande. You know, some young people are talking about gifts they are receiving in T-shirts. Politics is not for a day, and it is not for a gift that you get in a T-shirt. Politics is a lot more than that. So that the People's National Movement is offering you two young men who have stood the test of time. A young businessman who continued in his grandfather's footsteps, and who the PNM saw in him a candidate, not just now, you know, but some time ago, and that's why he was made an alderman. So that we talk about young people and business, we talk about young people aspiring to be something different. And very often when I walk the streets of Arima, that's what you want to get involved in. You want to get involved in business. Look at what Roger Monroe has done over the last couple of years. Look at the fact that he followed in his grandfather's footsteps. He did not waste the time like many other people who, you know, you just sat there and you see your parents, your grandparents, and you other involved in business, and you think of how hard they work, and some of us say, well, I'm not sure if I can work that hard. But you know what he did? He sat at his feet, he listened, he learned, and he's now successful. And that is why the People's National Movement selected him. In the case of Foster Cummings, Foster has served our party very well. Foster has been in the Senate, and you have heard him talking about the shortcomings of the people, shortcomings of the United National Congress. He has talked about the successes of the PNM. He has come from parents and grandparents who were involved in the sugarcane industry. And Foster is therefore well placed because he understood the challenges of growing up of an environment when he didn't, and his parents and grandparents didn't have everything. But he too is involved in business. And he too is a brother in whom I'm well pleased. So I am here to support him. I'm extremely happy that both Foster and Roger are here tonight to speak on my platform, and I look forward to serving with them in the Parliament, both as Member of Parliament for Toko Sandy Grande and La Joqueta Talparo. On August 10th, therefore, when you have a chance to ensure that the vision for our constituencies and for Trinidad and Tobago materializes, vote for Foster Cummings, vote for Monroe, Vote for me. Vote for the PNM. Vote for continued the development of infrastructure that enables our innovation and allows for greater distribution of wealth to all our citizens. Vote for the best choice. Vote for the right choice. Vote for the People's National Movement. Vote and ensure that Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley gets another 5 years, and ensure that Dr. Keith Rowley is the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We want to remember that our North Coast areas, Blanchishes, Monlacqua, Paria, Matlot, we know that it's not easy for those areas, but we love them as much as we love the areas in the borough. So therefore, we want to remind you, we'll be coming up to the North Coast very soon, and we will be looking forward to twinning with Toko Sandigrandi. So I say to all of you finally, on the 10th of August, when you go to the polls, vote for the right choice. Vote for the PNM. Vote for Foster Cummins for La Joqueta Talparo. Vote for Roger Monroe for Toko Sandigrandi, and Pennelope Beckles for Arima. Okay? And I want to thank our Public Relations Officer, Mrs. Laurel Izama Leasing, for gracing us with her presence. Thank you, Laurel.
Arima! Big up to our Penny man. Oh yes! Wait. It's all about Penny. Only Penny, a shining penny, a smiling penny. For all Arima, only Penny, a shining penny, a smiling penny. Arima's treasure, we voting for PNM. We voting for. Let me hear it once more. We voting for PNM. We voting for. We voting Penny for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next member of Parliament for Arima, Pennelope Beckles Robinson. When you sit and you listen to how well articulated, how visionary, how unrivaled these candidates that were chosen by the People's National Movement are, you understand and you note very well that Trinidad and Tobago is in good hands. The theme, the right choice, was not chosen by accident. It was strategic. It has shown that careful consideration has been placed on each of the candidates to ensure that the representation is second to none. So, these candidates that we have before us today, Her Excellency Pennelope Beckles Robinson, Senator Foster Cummings, Roger Monroe, Raquel Bisoun, and the other candidates. Y'all are the only choice. Y'all are the right choice, and we look forward to having you forming the next government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. With that being said, I would now take this moment to introduce Ms. Bridget Campbell to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Members of our head table, specifically the next members of Parliament for the constituency of Arima, La Joqueta Talparo, and Toko Sandigrandi. Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Arima and Chairman of the PNM Arima constituency. Our youth speaker this evening. Council members of the Arima Borough Corporation. Members of the executive of the Arima constituency, guests, online viewers, constituents, good evening. It is my privilege to deliver this evening's vote of thanks. On behalf of the PNM Arima constituency campaign team, and more specifically, the planning team for this evening's event, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for their invigorating speeches. You have certainly energized us for the coming weeks and made it clear that we will be making the right choice by voting the People's National Movement on August 10th. Special thanks to Marlon Guerra for that lovely rendition of our national anthem, and to John Thomas for the excellent entertainment. Thank you to the decorating team who ensured that the space was beautifully decorated. Thank you to the councillors and area managers for their continued support. To our guests present and our online viewers, and other supporters and well-wishers, thank you sincerely.
PNM is the choice, PNM is the voice, PNM all the way on election day is the right choice at the right time. Hands in the air for the bodies, hey. Introducing my friend, the General, Sasha.
We voting PNM. Anyway, right choice, proud leader. The battle for our nation, your life matter, yeah. Real leadership, yo, we promise you forever, wow. Vote PNM and everything will be much better, yeah. Strength and honor in 5 years of government. Never again will we allow mismanagement. PNM is here to say their love is permanent. Loyal to the flag and never bow to establishment. Who them try if you trick and sell out, but them care by my vote, me na bow out. Them better move when we're the army a run out. All these deceitful people will get burned out. Yeah, we know. Dr. Rowley, a leader phenomenal. The UNC full up of pirates and criminal. Send for the duck, cause the state is critical. Searching to perform, and this country's political structure. Send for the doctor again. It's a golden pen, a golden pen. Sign my name, sign my name, yeah. It's a golden. Anyway, we vote in PNM. Sign my name, it's a PNM pen, a PNM pen, a PNM pen. How are you sign my name? It's a PNM pen. We vote in PNM. Hey, PNM is a PNM power. PNM, a positive healing power. PNM, moving forward together. PNM, introducing Rishi, my brother.
All of we is one family. All of we is one family. Working together to build this country.